Hey everyone, my name is Natasha Pastorini, and today I'm going to be talking and explaining a little bit more about my portfolio project more in depth. So let's get started. Ever since the first day that the teacher told us about this whole new project and how it was going to work out, whether we could pick magazine or film, I automatically knew that I just wanted to do the film. Like, there's no question about it. So, ever since I was small, I always loved making homemade movie videos with my friends, and we'd spend hours just going crazy making videos and just going along, doing a lot of that. The thing is that this time it was a bit more of a challenge. More of my new challenge in this project is to take this old hobby of mine, this experience, and actually turn it into, a worthwhile project where I would actually have to start editing it and finding the perfect songs and sound effects to make this project come to life, and also to portray the actual main idea and thought into it. So now, even though I know what I wanted to do, I had no idea what in the world I was going to do for the actual thought of the project. Therefore, I just began to think about the genre that I wanted to do. So to start off, I was looking around, and although I'm a romantic comedy fan and choose nothing to do with horror movies, I started leaning over more towards the thought of suspense. I love the thought of tension. Tension, I feel like, always gets the audience very involved into the whole video. Therefore, the goal of having this tension is sort of to create like a puzzle for the audience by giving them small pieces of, who is this, what is that, what's going on, in order to figure out the mystery. So as I began my research, I started researching about suspense and thrillers, seeing how it was working out, but then I realized that it also included a bit of mystery where I was trying to go towards. Therefore, there's actually, believe it or not, a big difference between mystery and then suspense and thriller within the film world. So moving away from the genre, I'm going to talk a little bit about the convention. The convention that's found within my film is that he's actually this Brandon character who is helping out Callie is actually a guy that, could see sort of like in the future, knows what's going to happen, what's going on, and that is explained throughout the narrative when she starts saying, like, he knows everything, he knew it all from the start. So that's kind of like the typical, stereotypical part where the government, because the government's the one that are trying to chase these kids down for the reason that you find out throughout the film, this is why they're trying to chase him down alongside, because he is different from the usual. So my project is going to begin to engage with the audience right away, as the fact that the audience will feel worried of what's going on, because they're automatically introduced with these two characters who are running for their lives, literally. So along with this worriness that the audience will feel towards these characters, is they're going to start feeling curiosity, like, why is this happening? Who's chasing them? What did they do to get into this scenario? So these questions actually help the audience engage within the whole film, because in order to find out what's going on, they have to stay longer and see how it progresses, as well as pay more attention to the details of what's going on around them in order to figure this out. So in order to answer these unanswered questions, they have to stay engaged. So we start seeing these teenagers also truly helping each other out and comforting each other out through this crazy experience of someone chasing them throughout the action of them holding hands. This once again brings in this thought of connecting the audience with the characters, because although the majority of the audience may have most probably never experienced such a thing before, they can only imagine that being chased by someone along with your significant other, you're always going to want to find a way to protect and make sure that this person's alongside with you and just everything's going to turn out right, even though you are in a risky situation. So you could sort of relate how that would feel if you were in such a situation. Along with that, this engagement continues as the audience moves towards the narrative part, because it starts to give the audience sort of the first puzzle piece of the whole story. The mood, along with the tone that's heard in this part of the narrative, helps show that, that the audience is feeling sad of what just happened to this girl, seeing that she just lost her significant other, even though they're still not sure why, but they start seeing more clues within the narrative, realizing that she's just lost lost something important to her. So now that we found a way to engage the audience, let's get down to business. The film will begin to be distributed through the film festivals because since this is a small production company that's growing and it's new to this whole film world, you have to start off step by step. So it was going to start out through a film festival, which normally, depending on how it goes, you could sometimes release it officially, or you could wait and hold it onto it a little bit and then release it on later. Prior to releasing this video onto the film festival, there will be a trailer that will be released onto YouTube in order to have, new audience, people start looking onto the whole main idea of the movie and see if they're actually interested and then continue on from there. So that now that we've established the distribution process, let's get more behind the scenes on diving into the editing part. Gotta say, this was the first time I used voiceover ever in any sort of film project I've done. So this was kind of a new experience. It was cool once you start playing around with it. It was a bit challenging, not gonna lie, but it was cool seeing how important a voiceover could become into a film like this, because you start to clarify more what's going on and start seeing how the characters feel and it sets the mood. So it was pretty cool and I'm happy I used it. However, in the future I do hope to perfect it. Well, once you were able to get the good volume and the perfect setting with the voiceover, it sounds great. So my film skills development started, increasing, getting better, especially during the running scene. That was pretty cool because I was in a scenario, in a setting that I've never filmed before. So it was sort of new. So I was technically on the floor, up on the trees, in between bushes. On the dock, I was technically on the edge of a dock that you didn't even know if it was going to fall down at any point. So it was pretty crazy, but it was cool because you learn to get different angles that you normally wouldn't get if you didn't have such a challenging setting. So I believe that also helped, portray the tone correctly through these angles as we did the shooting. Then we had the part of the pool. That was intense. It was insane because we thought it was literally going to take 30 minutes tops to do this 3-second footage video, and it turns out that we were there for 2 hours trying to figure this out. Getting underwater, staying underwater, and trying to find the perfect angle without having it look like a pool because this kid is technically dying into the lake is very challenging. So that also, I believe, helped a lot with my skill development as I progressed throughout the footage and the filming process because it was challenging. And lastly, we have the technology. So to edit my project, I use iMovie for everything. It wasn't bad at all. I've used it before for prior projects. Personally, I would have picked something else, but I was kind of having a technological problem, so I had to stick with iMovie. The thing about iMovie is that it's very limited. So transitions and editing or using sounds is sometimes trickier because I'm limited on what I have, so that's a bit challenging. But overall, it was fine. It was good. The voiceovers was also a bit tricky on the iMovie. I struggled a bit with trying to get the perfect volume. I still believe it could have been better, but it's good enough, I believe. So then we have, thanks to Purple Planet, Bensound, and freesound.org, I had a smooth ride with my whole sound and songs behind my film. So thanks to them, it was amazing. I did perfect with that. No problem with the sounds, no problem with the finding the perfect sound effect or the songs. It totally fit the mood, so I was good with that. And then lastly, in order to share this fun experience, I had to use the blog, which I've never done before. I've never done a blog, but I gotta say it was pretty cool. I'm happy to have shared this whole experience with you guys through this blog. It was amazing, had no problems with that. And thanks for watching.